going on? Luke here. For today's video, we're talking about State of Origin Game 1 2022. Wrapping things up, reviewing it a little bit. Sort of just getting things off my chest, just talking about the game, talking about frustrations, talking about the performances. Where do we start? I guess we just talk about how good Queensland were. When I looked at the team lineups and I did the first impressions video, I said, and I think the title of the video is something along the lines of Queensland have the better side. I personally just thought maybe the crowd could get New South Wales home, but I was very well aware that Queensland have a very, very strong side. And if you go through the last couple of series, obviously New South Wales had Tommy, they had Latrell Mitchell as well, but Queensland were always just missing, you know, at least one or two of their big guns. There was just always someone missing, even down to the series that they ended up winning. Like, they were missing on a lot of players then, but it's probably been understated how they were missing some other players too. Like, I just feel like off the top of my head, there was just always someone missing, whether it was Harry Grant or, you know, Munster or Ponga. Just, they never really had, like, their full strength side. I think this is their full strength side. You had guys like Paddy Carrigan, who's really good. Cobbo was great. Munster, man of the match, easy. Thought Cherry Evans did his part. Didn't really overplay his hand. I thought Ben Hunt was good, even though he didn't play that long. But him and Harry Grant, great little combination there. I think they just got everything perfect. Literally everything perfect. And they did only end up winning by 6 points, but it's a win in New South Wales. So a win by 6 points in New South Wales, like it is very, very important, especially in the grand scheme of things for the series. I think this is the one that sort of tells me that I feel like Queensland, they haven't wrapped up the series. And I know Phil Gould made a comment to Cameron Munster and he said, don't do that to us, Gus. But I feel like if you start off strong like they did, New South Wales gave it their all at the end and they're actually starting to fire up a little bit, and Queensland held on and Queensland got the job done. So for me, going to Suncorp, I just feel like Queensland, they've got to win this one. If they don't win at Suncorp and it goes to a Game 3, maybe New South Wales got the edge, but in front of the home crowd and already have won the first game, I think it's so important, especially just for the confidence for a lot of these players, because I feel like you look at a lot of these players, they're playing for the Cowboys, they're playing for the Broncos, they're playing with a lot of confidence. I've never seen Valentine Holmes play as well as what he has. Ponga even stepped up. He came from the Knights, hasn't really been playing that well, a lot of controversy off the field, big contract, all that sort of stuff. Stepped into this Queensland side and I thought he was pretty impressive. There's just some players like him and like Cameron Munster is the perfect example of it, but when they just have the ball and nothing's on, you're like, oh, I think they can create something. New South Wales was sort of lacking that. For New South Wales, for me, I feel like Jack Whiten was the best player. I thought Tedesco tried his guts out. He was absolutely outstanding. But yeah, Jack Whiten, a lot of talk about Jack Whiten, especially from myself, about how he shouldn't have been in the centres and they should have picked Stephen Crichton. I feel like in the end, I know Tony Staggs ended up going off. I thought he looked fairly strong when he was on the field. Obviously ended up injured, but the whole Stephen Crichton experiment, carrying a centre on the bench, it just didn't work. It really didn't work. When he came on, the game was already like 60 minutes in. So hard to just chuck in a dude in the centres and be like, all right, go out and play there. Like, especially, I don't even think it was on his right side as well. So, yeah, Jack Whiten was outstanding. Every time he got the ball or the ball went his side, it looked very damaging. But I will say, I thought Nathan Cleary was poor. I just got to say it. I think he is the best player in the world, but he was poor. He didn't really do much. There was not a lot of direction for the Blues, and whether that's down to Cook, you know, Tedesco, Cleary, Luai, a combination of all of them, but everything seemed to go through Nathan Cleary, but we weren't really doing anything. There was no direction. A lot of balls hitting the deck. A lot of just random offloads where nothing's really happening. A lot of runs from dummy half or they would pass it to one of the halves and they'd stop and they'd turn and they'd look around and just throw a random pass to a forward. Like just a lot of stuff where there was just no cohesion. And I feel like that was probably the best thing I can say about Queensland, is that it just felt like there was so much cohesion. Despite all of these players who play for Penrith, it felt like a lot of them never played with each other. And I don't know if Isaiah Yeo getting knocked out, he's saying he didn't get knocked out, but that's a clear case, head knock. Every week in the NRL, that person's off, he stumbled, he wouldn't be coming back on. He didn't even go off for a test. And I think they're now saying that they didn't see it. It was the first tackle of the game. Every man and their dog saw that one. Crazy scenes there. Obviously, we can get into all like the forward passes. Like Queensland had a chance where there was a forward pass. Obviously, Tedesco went over and scored. Very reminiscent of like the one a couple of years back, which I was there for, where he went over and scored in the corner, but this time it was ruled forward. Don't know if I necessarily agree. The try right on half time where it got taken away, definitely a penalty. Paddy Carrigan played up to it, but once again, they've been doing it all year. They've been doing it for the last couple of years. That is a penalty. No controversy about that one. The try just before halftime, though, that Queensland ended up scoring, Cobbo put in the little grubber. Pretty shitty pass by Ponga, but I feel like because it was a shit pass and it did hit the ground, that's actually what made the try. Like, if he just threw an actual beautiful pass, like intercept, like he was that far in the line, but because it hit the ground, they're like, what? And then, yeah, Cobbo just goes onto it, puts a kick in, Gagai scores. Trying to think of like other moments in the game. I mean, straight after half-time, Queensland coming out, making a line break with Munster, holding on, and then straight from a scrum, bam, they end up scoring. Cherry Evans. That was the dagger. That was like, oh man, this really, really isn't our night. Like I said, Queensland weren't exactly clinical with the ball. They just did what they had to do. But like I said, they did have a lot more cohesion. They looked like they had a little bit more purpose. They were hitting hard. I mean, New South Wales were obviously hitting hard too, but like the whole game, Tedesco was threatening. He got his hands on the ball a lot. Maybe too much even. I don't know. But like the left-hand side was the threatening side. The right-hand side didn't do much. And I know there's going to be a lot of talk about Daniel Tupou as well. He was solid. He was just Daniel Tupou. I said this when I saw the teams. I think Addo-Carr has that threat of being, you can put in a kick for him. He can get a runaway. There's just so many things that they could have done having Addo-Carr on the side. Even in terms of some chances, I think Tony Staggs had a chance where Daniel Tupou didn't support him. Addo-Carr would have been there. But they're too focused on the kicking game, which didn't even really happen anyways. And I know you can say like it's because Daniel Tupou was there that they weren't really focusing on him, but they kicked at Brian Tyre all night. He caught every single one of them. Daniel Tupou had like one or two kicks that, maybe Addo-Carr might have struggled with, but for the most part, they weren't really kicking. There's not that many opportunities where they're launching up bombs like that. So, yeah, I feel like Addo-Carr definitely would have been a great inclusion. But, I mean, going into game 2, Latrell Mitchell, if he's back, I think it changes a lot. I think Jack White retains his spot in the centres. I think we definitely need to do something about the forward pack, though, because I don't know, it just seemed very, very lackluster, especially in the last couple of seasons, last couple of years, I should say. The forward pack for New South Wales has been outstanding, whereas last night, they weren't terrible, but they just didn't really get enough go forward to really do too much, at least for the back. So I think we need to look at maybe rotations. Like, it was quite strange. Like, Liam Martin started. You also had Campbell Gillard who started. So there was a lot of late changes in the forward pack. I didn't mind Campbell Gillard starting, and I actually thought to start the game, we actually were pretty good. It was sort of when all those guys went off that we seemed to drop off a little bit when the Cameron Murrays and stuff came on, which is interesting because I really rate Cameron Murray. But it was just, I don't know, just around that sort of time when all the changes happened that we sort of lost our way. And maybe we are missing a guy like Jake Trbojevic or even like a Dalla Finucane or someone, just those hard nuts who get in there and just when the times are tough, they can take those shit runs and they can sort of direct them around and just bring a little bit of leadership. And that's where I go back to Addo-Carr as well. Just someone who can lift them, give them some energy. I don't really see Daniel Tupou, if he scores a try, which I don't think he really does in Origin, if he does score a try, I can't really see him being super emotional, grabbing the badge and firing up everyone. Whereas I feel like that's just what we needed, and that's what Queensland had the advantage over us, was that they had so much passion and so much fire, and they took it to us, and when we couldn't match it with them for a little bit, they really they stuck the sword in. And look, it is disappointing, being a New South Wales supporter. Do I think we can hit back in Game 2? I think it's possible, but I think the more likely thing to happen is that Queensland win this one, go to Game 3. Queensland might sweep us. It's a possibility. Didn't think I'd be talking about sweeping us. I saw Cooper Cronk apparently made a comment saying Queensland will sweep us before the game. And I was like, dude, what is he on? I know he's passionate about Queensland. He's a great for Queensland, but be realistic. But hey, we're being realistic now. We're down 1-0. It's time for New South Wales to step up. No Tom Trbojevic, but Latrell might be back. Hopefully he's enough. Because I feel like we did also miss just having Latrell last couple of seasons. Queensland attacking the line. The game's pretty tight. Latrell intercept changes the game. You also had times where, when the game was in the balance, you could just pass. Like when we were attacking the line, we didn't really have much to do. But Latrell Mitchell's there, passing the ball, and he would just smash his way over. Like he did it a lot of times. Tommy's the same. Tommy can just hit a hole. He can create a break. And also just the fact that they're in the side, there's just that aura about them. So I think Latrell being back will be a big inclusion. It's a matter of whether he is actually back. So look, Tony Staggs is probably going to miss the second game, you would imagine, with an injuries going off. Queensland had a few injuries themselves, but look, credit to Queensland. Some nice little tries. New South Wales tried hard. Like I said, Jack White for me was the best by far. I thought Tedesco really tried hard, but yeah, Queensland were just all over them. It was all Queensland the whole game until like the last maybe like 10-15 minutes. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know in the comment section below. Did you enjoy the game? Did you think the refereeing was alright? Did you expect Queensland to win? And do you expect them to win game 2 and wrap up the series? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to use the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub boxes. Use the notification bell and never miss any of my videos. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and chuck me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke and YT for the most part. My Facebook's Mr. Luke, but everything else, including Snapchat, including TikTok, is Mr. Luke and YT. Give me a follow, give me an ad. Also, think about becoming a member of the channel. Shout out to everybody who is a member. You really are supporting the channel. You are holding it all together. Thank you very much. It is very much appreciated. There are 3 tiers. You can go ahead and pick some. It sort of works well with the streams and all that sort of stuff. So definitely help me out. Become a member. And that's where I'm going to end things here. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more content on the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. See yous.